Hello! It is Chitter Chatter time. Come on in. Alexa, volume 6. It is Chitter Chatter time, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what time it is. We are ready for a great episode. I hope you ladies are here and ready to have a good time. It's time to get started. I am your host, Uniqua Manigault, and this is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Chitter Chatter Live. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about toxic traits. We are talking about everything toxic. What is a toxic trait? What makes a person toxic? What do you think about the first time you hear the word toxic? We are speaking about it, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, we're going to mix our drinks. And tonight, ladies, I looked up a good drink. I am making a Moscow Mule using vodka. So, first things first, we have the Tito's vodka. We're going to be using ice, of course. Lime juice. They say get fresh lime juice, but I'm not about to squeeze no. I'm not about to do all that. I'm not about to do that. So, lime juice, Kroger brand. I got some mint. I'm adding a little extra to my recipe just add a little different flavor to it. Just add a little flavor to it, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we have some guests coming in a little later on, but let's say pump our brakes a little bit. Just not yet. We're going to jump back into her. Miss Amanda is going to be coming in a little later to talk about toxic because it's not often that we talk about toxicity. I'm not 100% certain if that's a word, but just in case it's not, we're making it one tonight. Toxicity. Back to the drink. Add a little ginger beer, and I'm gonna throw in a little cinnamon, just a little bit for sure. And I'm gonna do some grenadine and cranberry because I want a little sweetness. I've been mixing some heavy drinks here. Tonight, I want a little sweet while we talk about a little toxic. So it says the recipe says I need half an ounce of lime juice. I'm gonna put that in first, just because there's no half marks on here, so I'm measuring it. So I'm saying half an ounce. So this is measured by ounces. Half an ounce of lime juice. They said we need 2 ounces of vodka. So I'm gonna take this up to 3.5. Oh, I was supposed to look. Because I only did half. I didn't do 1.5. So I was supposed to do 2.5, but 3.5, same thing. Get a little drink. And it says we need 4 ounces of ginger beer. That's the whole can right here. So put that in there. Ooh, I'm excited. This is my first time making a Moscow Mule. So we're just gonna see how it turns out. I got the lime juice. This is my cup. Go ahead and put the ice in there because it actually says that's it for the recipe. But I'm adding my own little extra stuff in it. If you're just now tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter Chatter, and we are mixing our drink, ladies. Tonight, we are talking about our toxic. We're talking about everything toxic. What makes a person toxic? What is toxic? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word toxic? I am your host, Uniqua Manigault, and tonight we are diving into it. I have just mixed up my drink, ladies. Le Moscow Mule. So I'm gonna put some. This is what I'm gonna do. Dress my little drink up a little bit. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add cranberry in there because, like I told you, volume 4. I need it to be a little. I need it to be a little sweet tonight because I want to. Tired of mixing these hard, heavy drinks. They be good, but they're a little heavy. We're gonna give that up side. Yeah, about right there. You can never go wrong with cranberry juice. Cranberry is my favorite. Tonight, ladies, I have a few guests coming in to talk about toxic traits. It's a lot of people, if you can believe it or not, don't believe they have toxic traits. It's a lot of people that don't believe in the word toxic. And in our community, I believe the word toxic is used a little bit too much. We're going to talk about all that tonight, ladies. Here I am mixing up my drink. Here we go. Let me do this, because last time I didn't do that, it popped off in my face. Now I'm about to let that happen. You learn a few things mixing these drinks up here, ladies. This is my Moscow Mule. Let me mix it up a little bit more. We're going to have a good time here tonight. I'm already excited to taste this. Take time. When you have a shaker like mine, this is rubber. It slides right on up. Make sure you are very cautious. We want you ladies to drink safely. Keep you some water nearby. Add some ice to this cup. And I want to dress my cup up a little bit. I need a little squirter. So I guess I'm going to just, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. Just fell all in there. So let me, whoop. I should have been a bartender. It's like so fun just mixing and willing these drinks. If you're just now tuning in, ladies, this is Chitter Chatter. You know what? I should have put the ice in. Chitter Chatter. And we are talking about toxic traits tonight, ladies. And beauty tip. Pick the lipstick, ladies. Lipstick. This lipstick is available on our website. Jump right on over there and get it. I have actually mixed 3 colors tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. I'm going to go ahead and run with the top of Miss Amanda calls it Annie. I wasn't for Annie, but I'm going to ride with it. It's Annie. Okay. So it's looking like I may have enough for one. Let me add some more ice to this. So hopefully one make it tonight. Oh. Got to put my lime in there. You got to add lime in there. Okay. That look good. Look at Moscow Mule. Let's see. Welcome. If you're just now coming in, we are here for Chitter Chatter. We are here for Chitter Chatter, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and toast it in. Woo. That is good. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're just as good as mine. And I'm glad I added that cranberry in there. Because that cranberry gave it that little extra. And I needed that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for a great episode tonight. We are talking about toxic traits. So often in our community, we don't talk about the detailed things that we need to talk about. This is Black Girl Beauty, and we talk about it here. I'm going to go ahead and start you off with 5 ways to connect with Uniqua. You can reach me at Facebook. I'm Uniqua Manigault. That's UNIQUIAMANIGAULT. That's also my name on YouTube. You can catch up on past episodes. That you can see everything that's going on with Uniqua, with the makeup, the wigs, everything. We're transforming and we're stepping out on this platform, and we are giving you everything that we have in the arts form. We are giving you everything when it comes to Black Girl Beauty. This is where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. Here we have the conversation, and we get together and we make things, we come up with ideas and plans to make things go further. You can also follow me on Twitter. I am Coco Plum. That's COCOPLUM. I am Uniqua on Instagram. That's IAMUNIQUIA. Follow me. That's how I put you on all the Chitter Chatter episodes to come, the hoop sales, the lipsticks, the makeup. That is where you get Black Girl Beauty. I am Uniqua on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter. That is how you can connect with me. Here tonight, ladies, we are talking about toxic traits. And I wanted to go ahead and just make it clear that sometimes in our community, I really think the word toxic, especially now, and I forgot to put my cinnamon on my drink. That was the missing ingredient. In our community, the word toxic is just it's so overused. It's said everything's toxic. He's toxic, she's toxic. It's like we don't identify things that we need to improve and just bad things that we have going on. We confuse that with toxic. If it's not good, it's toxic. Everything is toxic. We don't even really know the depth of the word toxic. It's not cool to be toxic. It's not okay to be toxic. It's not funny. We make a joke of it now, and we're so quick to, I'm toxic. We grasp onto that label. And as men think it, so is he. If you think you toxic, you are toxic. You'll begin to do toxic things. You'll begin to accept toxic things. That's why we here tonight are laying out toxic traits. What we think is toxic. What it even means to be toxic. Really, I feel like I have things that are not so good about me and things that I need to change. I'm not going to necessarily say they are toxic traits. And that is a concept, an idea that is recently. I don't know what I was thinking saying that. I'm gonna take one sip today. Added it to with my cinnamon. I ain't add the mint. Whoo, the cinnamon did touch. So I'm gonna add the mint in and see how that goes. It's a good one tonight. Just a little sprinkle. Toxic traits. I'm gonna just list a few of my toxic traits and tell you about them. I'm gonna list a few things I feel I need improvement, which in our day and time will be considered toxic traits. Just to make it comfortable for everyone to be able to list their toxic traits. We're so ashamed of things that we need to improve, we don't often talk about it. But number one for me, as far as toxic traits, is I expect people to be like me, and I get mad when they aren't. That is a real bad habit that I have. I really get mad. Like, you ever saying something to somebody and you expect to be common sense understood? I don't even feel like I should have had to say this, but I'm saying it type situation with somebody. And they're like, it's going over their head. Those type of situations make me mad. I'm going to say that's a bad habit, maybe a toxic trait. And I'm working on that. Number two, I'm a go hard or go home type of person. Like, I don't do something a little bit. I either do it a lot or not at all. My mom is always telling me how I'm like a different person. And it's because I either do something a little bit or I either do something or I don't do it. There's no in between. That's something I'm really working on, trying to find a balance in life. Toxic trait. If you're just now tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter Chatter. We are speaking about toxic traits. What it really means to be toxic. When I hear the word toxic, I think of the worst, like the worst of everything. Because toxic is something that can kill you. Toxic is like a poison. I don't think of toxic as a good thing, a laugh, a joke. How it is portrayed in our community these days is like, it's just, oh, you're toxic, he's toxic, I'm toxic, and it's really not a funny thing. So the fact that it's been so adapted and normalized in our community is kind of crazy to me. But this is why we need to talk about it. What do you think toxic really means? Do you think toxic is toxic, or is it maybe something you need to improve? I believe that toxic is you're not toxic. You have bad things. People are toxic. I take that back. Some people are toxic, but everyone is not. Some of us have things we need to improve and things we need to work on. And we need to remove the word toxic from being so common in our community. Some of us just have bad habits. Number three, and this will get me in trouble a lot. I talk too much. Period. In every aspect of the word. I mean, I'm working on that so hard because I don't want to be the person in the room that always. I don't want to always give my opinion. I always got to give my opinion. I always gotta say something. I always gotta say what's like. If a question is asked and I got the answer, I'm gonna tell it. I'm learning to shut up. I'm watching my mouth going to Chitter Chatter. I'm learning to just be quiet. I don't want to be that person in the room that always say something. As I'm growing into a woman and maturing and getting to know myself and really realizing the type of woman I want to be more so. I've never wanted to be seen, but I really want to be seen, not heard. And that's what I mean by I talk too much. Not even just in loud. But I'm saying talk too much is I always have to give my opinion. Always got to say something back. Always got to get the last word. I want to call it out. That is a bad habit. It could get toxic. But that is a bad habit. That's something I'm working on. That's like number one. Because I done had a lot of relationships. I'm going to just be real. I had a lot of relationships. And a lot of the situations that went left was simply because I could have just shut up and I didn't, and it went left. And then even while it was going left, I still failed to shut up. Like sometimes, I'm not gonna speak for nobody. I'm just sharing my advice in case you were like me. Sometimes you need to go and shut up. And that's it. Now I get irritated really quick, like. And I can't even snap. You see, the snap came through for me in that moment. I'm not a snapper. Mom having common. Me and mom having common. I'm telling her to snap when she come on. She can't either. But irritated quick. It's like 1 minute I'm cool, and the next minute you're on my nerves. That is something I'm working on, because when you're stepping out, you're evolving, you're getting out of the way, you can't be getting irritated like that, because it's bad. I can't speak for no one else but me. And number 5, I'm a little aggressive. You know, I get that a lot. I was driving Lyft at one point, and one of my passengers, he was like, "Oh, you're a really aggressive driver. I really like that about you." He said that, like, you're an aggressive driver. I didn't even know you could be that. That's when I realized it's a little bit too much. These recognizing your toxic traits and recognizing your bad habits, whatever you call it, is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter Chatter. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. It is Chitter Chatter time, ladies. We are here and we are speaking about toxic traits. I am your host, Uniqua Manigault, and we are speaking about what makes a person toxic. What are toxic traits? Do you believe in toxic traits? I have already listed a few of my bad habits. I'm not going to say toxic traits. There are habits that I'm working on trying to remove. And I mixed tonight here for me a Moscow Mule. I got a little bit more extra, and it's good, ladies. Made the vodka, and I can add a little bit more lemon. We are speaking about our toxic traits. I was on number 5 of mine. I'm a little too aggressive. I get that a lot. And, you know, I'm in, I hate to say it, I don't mean to sound any type of way, but I am waiting for my husband. So I don't want to be all aggressive, and because I don't want to meet, you attract what you are. I don't want to meet a man that wants an aggressive woman. I want to meet a man that wants a gentle, soft woman. So in order to get what you want, you have to be that. I don't want to be fake about it. I don't want to be no fake soft. I really want to be soft. And if not soft, but feminine. And in order for you to really do things, in order for you to really change your life, that's something adulting will teach you. In order for you to really grow and be better than who you were before, you have to really seek and grow and try to learn new things and learn what it takes to better yourself. Toxic traits, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about it. Too aggressive. So that is something I really struggle with, being too aggressive. I didn't know I was aggressive. And people say it to you enough, you'll start to look at it. I Googled the word, look up definition, I am that. Dang, I'm a little aggressive. So how do you go about not being aggressive? That's a real question that I had. Hey, Aunt Lisa, I'm so glad to have you here. It's so good to see you here. That is a real question that I had to ask myself. And I'm gonna go ahead. I've never asked anybody else that. But why wouldn't I? When you really want to change, you see the question. And that's something I'm gonna ask anybody viewing right now. What do you think it takes to really not be aggressive? How do you go about not being aggressive? How do you tone that down? I mean, people will tell you, you're a little aggressive, you need to work on that. Okay? In our community, we need to create avenues and opportunities and resources for young women to work on the things about themselves that they need to change respectfully, help lovingly, and honorably. Like I really want to be able to not be so aggressive. So what do I do to work on that? And you can do trial and error, because I've done that. I've been doing that, trial and error. Let me try this. That's not working. Let me do this. That's not working. And that is how you run into frustration. You try something long enough and it don't work, you're going to get mad. Like, I've been trying to do everything I could to not be this. And somehow, some way, I'm still that. I'm good. That is me. That has been me on my journey to not be so aggressive. Trial and error does not work, ladies and gentlemen. So here I am on here speaking about toxic traits. You see how somebody pulls it out of you? I'm sharing my moment with you. Speaking about it, I said one of my bad habits, toxic traits, is that I'm too aggressive. And I've been trying to work on it all year. I'm gonna be honest, all year. And it's trial and error. So I've been ran into a lot of holes. The situations, what I tried didn't work. Some situations it did. But you can always just ask somebody, what does it mean to not be aggressive? That is what we're doing in our community, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now tuning in, it's Chitter Chatter, and we are speaking about toxic traits. That was my number 5. I try to do a list of 10. And my number 6, this is a really good one. And it's so common in our community, and I'm just being honest about it because I really don't like it. I'm a little too independent. That's not a toxic trait. That's a bad habit. But it's a bad habit because when I say too independent, I mean like I walk in the bar and the first, I might walk in somewhere. First thing I'm going to do is accommodate myself. I'm going to get something to eat, go get me something to drink. I'm going to do all this, that, and that. And I'm saying that to say I always have my own everything, so I don't really ask for anything. And I'm learning in this world, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what they tell you. Those dimes don't get fed, babe. You don't ask, you don't get. And when you don't ask, you don't get, you can't be mad that you didn't receive. We changing that in 2020, 2022, and the end of 2021. Start asking. Start requiring. Start demanding things. That's why you can't be too independent when you're trying to learn new things and grow and seek new opportunities and meet new people. You need to step out on faith, and you need to ask so you shall receive. When I say you, I mean me. That's the type of trait I'm working on. And I'm going to take one sip to that, ladies and gentlemen. I need what I need. You know, see, now the cinnamon all on my lip. If you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter Chatter. You see, pay our bills. I'm talking about be too independent, and Beyonce saying pay our bills. God be right on time. Don't tell me he ain't real. Alexa is on spin. Chitter Chatter. We are speaking about toxic traits, ladies and gentlemen. We are speaking about what it is to be toxic. Do you believe in toxic traits? I'm giving you a list of things about me that I believe are toxic, things that I'm working on, things that I'm trying to change, things that could possibly lead, I'm going to say lead to toxic. Because like I said earlier, I don't really necessarily toxic traits, more like bad habits that we need to remove. And my last one that I'll do tonight before I bring in my guest is I put myself last, ladies and gentlemen. And in our community, I'm discovering that is a problem that a lot of us have. We are last on our to-do list. We are last on our happy list. We are last on our I'm trying to do better for this situation. We're last on that list. I'm trying to do better for my kids. I'm trying to do better for my family. I'm trying to do better for my this. I'm trying to do better for that. I'm trying to do better for that. We are always last on our list, ladies and gentlemen. That is a bad habit. That is something we're trying to change. That is toxic. That can turn you toxic. That can make you not recognize when someone in your life is toxic. Ladies and gentlemen, we're changing that narrative. I'm changing that narrative. I am first on my to-do list. If it's not, and we need to be able to do that and not feel like we're being selfish about it. Because I'm one of them people. That's how I know it was a bad habit. When you start feeling bad about doing stuff for you, that's when it's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's not okay. Don't be a foolish giver. The Bible says to give, but don't be foolish. You don't just give and 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 never receive. You continue to do that, you will fail. We are changing that narrative. We are removing ourselves from situations so that we can be better in life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we are speaking about toxic traits. And really, when I said that I believe toxic traits were more so bad habits than toxic. You know, we there are things about us that we can change. And there are things about us that if mine were to change, we wouldn't believe that everything about us was so toxic. Because like I said, that word is so overused in our community that everything's toxic. You look at somebody wrong, you toxic. You feel like somebody did the wrong thing, you toxic. Everything that anybody does is toxic in our community. And we are changing that. Some people just have bad habits, ladies and gentlemen. Some people just have things that need to change. Some people have things that need to be recognized. I was speaking to a friend earlier I don't even remember when it was. But one of the things I said was, I was speaking to my brother. You don't even know that you're doing something sometimes until somebody says it to you. You don't even realize that this thing has become a part of who you are and what you do until someone says, do you know you smack when you eat? I'm one of them people who I ain't gonna say I didn't know. There are moments when I hear myself eating. But there are also times I'm so into the food, baby, I ain't heard nothing. Like I eat. There are some times when my food is so good, I didn't hear the plate sit down. I'm just eating. And we're gonna take one sip today, ladies. Eat. This is Chitter Chatter. I should have mixed my cinnamon in. If you're just now tuning in, tell a friend to tell a friend. It is Chitter Chatter time, ladies and gentlemen. We are speaking about toxic traits. More so, how we overuse the word toxic, and everything we do isn't necessarily toxic. Some things are simply bad habits. And that brings me to the poem of the night, ladies and gentlemen, because it is your bad habits that they will define you by. It is the things you do consistently that you need to change, that people label you by. Those are the things you need to change. And those are the things that we get so caught up with, and we end up calling them toxic. They're simply bad habits. Bad habits. No matter how in control you think you are of your bad habits, you will be judged because of your bad habits. The quantities you consume is what will speak for you, no matter how much you're in tune. There are so many that lose control of their bad habits, go insane, suffer pain, deranged because of their bad habits. So you must be careful when you discover you have a bad habit. Be very careful when you discover you may have some bad habits. Don't waste your life engaging in too many bad habits, especially if you can't control how you live with bad habits. You have to be able to recognize bad habits. Everything is not toxic. This is how you learn and you grow. It's not rocket science. It's not. Truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, everything is not toxic. Everything is not, we overuse that word in our community. But sometimes some people are toxic and it can go too far. That brings me to our guest. We're going to go ahead and bring Miss Amanda in and see what she has to say about bad habits, ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
I am well, Coach. Well,
thank you. We go ahead and tune you in, Alexa. Volume 0. We're bringing you in to see what you felt. What do you think about? Go ahead and introduce yourself, because we want to hear your opinion and your voice on bad habits or toxic. We're talking about toxic traits. Do you even believe that they are toxic, Miss Amanda?
Absolutely. I believe that they are toxic traits, and I believe that people are toxic. Things are toxic, just like you just said. Family can be toxic. Friends can be toxic. The workplace can be toxic. Toxic, I mean, that it carries a lot of weight. But one of the things that I have learned is to get rid of it immediately. Now, one might say, how do you get rid of your family? How do you, and I hear people say, oh, people need to stop cutting people off. I hear people say that. I have seen on social media, I have heard people that I know say that. But one thing I will respond to is that deal with your own situation and worry about your own self, because everybody's situation is different. And it is very important that you protect who you are, that you protect your space, and that you protect your well-being, point blank. And if you have toxic people around you, you need to figure out, how do I get these people out of my life? Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. How do, if it's somebody you love and care about, instead of talk to them, if that don't work, you can find a solution, because carrying around toxic people in your life can really bring you down, can make you unhappy,
Absolutely.
can make you miserable, can destroy your life, really, if you continue to allow that to be a part of your space.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter Chatter, and we are speaking about toxic traits, ladies and gentlemen. Do you believe in toxic? I put a little mint in my drink. It's all on my tongue. Do you believe in toxic traits? Do you believe in someone is toxic? Miss Amanda just stated that she does believe in toxic traits and that people can be toxic, and I absolutely agree. I do believe people can be toxic. I just don't believe that everything we do is toxic. Like, we overuse that word in our community. Do you think the word toxic is overused in our community?
I don't think so. I think that the word is exactly what it is. I think that we have to be careful about it, because sometimes when you allow stuff in your life so long, you don't even realize that it's there. and those behaviors become habits. Habits for you, habits for the people, and people get comfortable intruding, I like to say, in your space with their stuff. Constantly bringing their stuff to you. I don't want your stuff all the time. I want peace. And if every time I'm around you and you're bringing some stuff with you, some garbage, some nonsense, some drama, and you're bringing your stuff with you, after a while, I'm going to just find out how I can get away from you. Point blank.
And you're wise. A wise man would do that. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And we have to learn, and we have to be okay, and we have to normalize being able to do that with anyone. Because there are going to be people in your lives, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to remove because they are toxic. Like I was telling you, I don't believe that everybody has toxic traits, that everything is toxic. But there are toxic people, toxic situations, toxic atmospheres that we need to remove ourselves from. And if we stop making it so cool and so okay to be toxic, we will feel okay removing ourselves from those situations. One of the things that I spoke on earlier was if you're not able to recognize your bad habits or your toxic traits, then you won't be able to recognize when you're being treated toxically. When someone is being toxic in your life, you won't understand. You won't even recognize it for what it is. You might think it's normal. You might think
absolutely.
You're so used to being treated toxically that you don't recognize it as toxic. That is why we have to be able to identify these things in our lives, and we have to be able to recognize what they are. Miss Amanda, I listed 7 of my toxic traits or bad habits or things that I need to improve about me. Do you have any about you? If you don't, I got a few right
now. You list yours and let me handle Amanda. But I think we all have some things about us that may be toxic to other people.
No. I
don't know anything toxic about me. I really don't. I don't know. Would you care to share? Feel free.
Yes, I would. I absolutely would.
Okay, go ahead.
One of your toxic traits, I believe, is that you are a takeover type of person. And what I mean, and I'm saying it's a toxic, it's not, like I said earlier, they're not toxic traits. They're bad habits that we have that we need to work on. Someone could simply ask you for help, or let's say I asked you to help me with my homework, and I tell you, this is Mom. Okay, the topic is blue. They told me to pick a color. My favorite color is blue. That's what I'm gonna do. I need a little help with it. You'll come in and help me with this project. Now, it's no longer about blue. It might be about purple. And it's not just about purple. You're going to do it. It's fantastic. It's the best presentation ever in the world, but it's purple because you couldn't find blue. And you're like, we're going to make this work. Because, blue, purple is, you're going to give me every explanation why what you did to help me with this was better. And, but you believe that because what you're doing is better for the circumstance, that it should be what it is. And no one should have any objection for that. And more so, they should thank you for giving them something better than what they already had. And it's like, I get it. And sometimes that's okay. But that's your energy all the time. We can do a show. The takeover spirit is going to come over. And sometimes people just want credit for what they want what they did to be recognized. They want to be able to say they did it themselves. And it's like that is a toxic trait I feel like you have. You don't allow other people to sometimes get their recognition. It's like you have a takeover spirit.
Okay.
A takeover spirit.
Okay.
And that's what
I don't.
now that I'm putting you on the track of what it means.
Can I finish? Can I say something now?
You know what I'm looking like.
Okay, now I don't see that as being toxic. What I see,
I said it's not toxic. It's kind of like a bad habit. Is what I said.
Okay, but we're talking about toxic right now, and so what I'm trying to say
is toxic. What
I'm trying to say is, and I've said this to you before too. We have to meet people where they're at. There are things about you that I have to accept about you because I know it's you, good and bad. And so I think that with me, When I'm working with people, I love to work alone. I love to work alone. And that's not a bad thing. I tell people that that's not a bad thing. I just like space when I'm working. And oftentimes when people come in my space, and I call it, they like to intrude in my space and ask me, hey, can you do such and such? It may be the timing, and maybe I may not have time to deal. I like people to schedule appointments with me. You know, I don't like people to pop up and say, being self-employed, people really think you got time all the time. And I don't care if it's my children or who it is. I'm always on a time schedule, and I'm very, very disciplined when it comes to my time. So when somebody calls me and say, hey, can you help me with that? And the timing is not good for me, yes, I will take over. I'll go and say, hey, do this, that, because I really don't have time to deal with you at this moment. So you may look at that takeover, and I'm looking at it as, let me hurry up and help her get this done because I don't have time, or timing is bad. I'm in the middle of something. And I think oftentimes, and I'm going to speak on you now because it's you and me, oftentimes you'll come because you have a habit is when I do schedule appointments, you don't show up. And then you have a habit of popping in anytime and say, hey, can you help me with this?
You know, people only do what you allow them to do.
Okay, so there you go. So when I take over,
I don't mean no.
Wait a minute. So you said that right. So when I take over, it's because you want me to take over.
No.
You allow me to take over. You allow me to do it. Most of the time, you want me to do it for you. That's what I.
Miss Amanda, pause you for 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter, and we're speaking about toxic traits, ladies and gentlemen. What is a toxic trait? I believe that people have that. Can I get the little punchline out before you break in?
Well,
she can't wait 2 seconds.
Let you get finished talking before you do that.
Listen, did we talk about that?
You cut in the middle.
So if you're just now tuning in, like I had to cut in because one of your toxic traits, I'm about to tell you about why I cut in. If you're just now tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter, and we are speaking about toxic traits. It is here. I am your host, Uniqua Manigault, with Coach Amanda Manigault here, and we are speaking about toxic traits. I really feel like they're bad habits. Bad habits can lead to toxicity if you're not careful and you don't recognize them and you don't do it. That is what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with my mother and saying that people aren't toxic and they don't have toxic traits. I'm saying it begins as a bad habit. If you don't grasp it at bad habit stage, it becomes toxic. Miss Amanda, did you hear me when I stated what my bad habits were?
I don't think I did. I might have missed that.
Yeah, go back and see it because I want you to really see. Because a lot of my bad habits also are yours.
Oh, God.
My number three, which was my main one. You talk a little bit too much, Mom.
What?
That you talk a little bit too. You talk too much.
That's your habit, right?
That's our habit.
No, that's your habit.
No.
That's your habit.
Did you hear how long you was explaining that first question? That's why I had to cut you off.
Baby, let me finish. I speak facts.
So you don't think you talk?
And when people don't like to hear what you're saying because you didn't want me to finish, because what I was saying is most of the time you want me to do it for you. So when the person wants you to do something, they'll let you take over. They don't want to do it anyway. They want the easy way out.
Right. I ain't that kid. You know I don't care.
One of the things I've learned with people.
I want you to do it, and I want to be top notch. And I'm
but you want the credit for it because you talk about credit.
I don't need credit.
You talk about credit.
Whatever comes to you,
do it for you. You can't ask me to do it for you. Let me do it, and then say Uniqua did it. I'm not going to do that.
No, I'm not going to do that. Miss Amanda can say she did it. You can definitely say you did it. Miss Amanda, you can say you did it. I don't mind.
No, boo. It's not about who did it though. It's about if it's yours, you need to do it. And then,
if you're going to do it for me, I'm going to let you. You see your name on there? Your name is Coach Amanda Manigault. You know what my name is?
No. No, dude. No, it
Uniqua
don't
of
work.
Mandolin
It don't work
Manigault.
like that. But okay,
I would
moving
never.
on. Moving right
Parents
along.
think that children have problems when they do things first. We don't. The thing is, that's why it's a bad habit. They just come in and do it. The
Okay.
takeover spirit. That's what we're talking about. But I had jumped to
No,
the
we're
talk too
talking about
much.
toxicity. Toxic.
Yeah, we are. That is those bad habits lead to toxicity. Did
Okay.
you hear your number two? You ain't want to talk about number two.
Go ahead.
We are
I didn't know this was about me, but okay. Go ahead.
It's about the both of us. I listed 7 of my toxic traits. It's about the both of us.
Go ahead and finish on you. I didn't know this was about me. I thought this was about helping other people recognize toxic
This is Black Girl Beauty,
things,
ladies and gentlemen.
toxic things and toxic people, and knowing when to cut that off, and knowing when it's time to move on, or it's time to let go, or whatever the situation is, or draw a line.
We're speaking about everything that involves the word toxic, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. These are the hard conversations that we have to have in our community. I don't know if people don't like me. I'm on here freely listing my toxic traits and things that I need to work on about me. As you can see in our community, women have a hard time listening and speaking about their toxic traits and things that they need to work on, and missing the moments of when we speak on it. Tension gets high and we need to change the subject. That is what this platform is about. We have the hard conversation.
Absolutely.
We talk about it. It doesn't make you a bad person because you have things you need to work on. It doesn't make you anything because you are brave enough to speak about the things that you need to work on. I'm not trying to do anything to make anyone look like anyone here on this platform. I listed my toxic traits. I asked if you had any, and then you told me
I don't have
to
it.
tell. Exactly.
I don't
What you asked was, did I know of any that you had?
I didn't ask. You volunteered. I didn't ask.
No. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
No,
you definitely said, well, what do you think?
It's not about me.
Tell you what I think.
It's not about me.
It's not about you. But once I answered your question, conversation got a little deep.
Okay,
we're gonna go ahead and move right along because in our community, like, we're talking about everything toxic. We're talking about how you need to sometimes remove toxic situations from around you. Miss Amanda, have you ever been this, ladies and gentlemen, is Black Girl Beauty. I want you to see, this is mom and daughter here. This is here. We are in display of how Black women get to talking when we get to talking about toxic traits. Miss Amanda, have you ever been the toxic person in someone's life?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Have you ever been the toxic person in someone's life?
I mean, I'm sure I have to them. Yes, I think I have. Yeah, I think I have been at a point in my life. I think at a point in my life, when life was stressful and I was probably younger, raising the kids, single mom, working 24/7, I could say that I probably was very toxic.
Absolutely. That's authenticity, ladies and gentlemen, because I too also believe I have been a toxic person in a couple people's lives. And I'm not even specifically speaking relationship wise, because that's what in our community, in our world, when we hear the word toxic, we automatically think relationships. You can be a toxic friend. You can be a toxic preacher. You can be a toxic teacher. You can be a toxic Walmart greeter. You are toxic. And everything.
I think where it is for me is growth.
Absolutely.
And I think when you go through that when you have a toxic experience, whether it's a friend, whether it's on the job, whether it's a relationship that you have with someone, I think as you grow in life,
Absolutely.
as you go through life and you're able to identify with these toxic traits, and you're growing, you want to be a better person, because in life, as you get older, your goal should be to get better, stronger, wiser, and as you begin to develop as a woman, as a man, but we're talking about women right now because this is Black Girl Beauty, and we're talking about things that we don't normally talk about in our community.
Absolutely.
So as you grow to become that woman that you want to be. So I'm talking about me for a minute, because yes, I can look back over my life and I can remember being toxic to myself. So if I was toxic to
That's
myself, I can imagine I was toxic
mm,
to others around me.
absolutely, absolutely.
So I say that to say that was then. And as I grew into the woman that I am now, I'm able to identify and I am able to walk away or eliminate or destroy or whatever I need to do to keep that toxic stuff out of my life.
Absolutely.
Because I am a better person, I'm a better woman. I have grown. I've raised three beautiful children. I'm a
Absolutely.
grandmother now. Why would I want to walk around with
Not for
toxic
me.
traits right now?
Absolutely.
So yes, I believe that in life we probably all have been toxic, depending what was going on in our lives at one point. No matter if it could have been a job, it could have been business, it could have been so many different things. Your kids could have been sick, and your life just got toxic. You had to get up and go to work at
Things
6.
happen.
You got
Absolutely.
home, you had to pick up the kids, you had to take them to play some sports, you had to be at the doctor's at 6 o'clock. Life will take you through some ups and downs, and you will find yourself in some circumstances and some situations that you had no idea you would be there. And so when you wake up in these places, you find yourself living a toxic life, a hectic life, a stressful life, domestic violence, alcohol, drugs. These are all toxic traits. But when you reach that point in your life where you say, I don't want to be this no more, I don't want this around me no more, it's okay to start crossing some things off. It's
Absolutely.
okay to say, I want to be better. I don't want this. It's okay to say, I can't be around her no more. I don't need him in my life no more. It's okay to walk away unapologetically and not feel
Absolutely.
bad about it because you made a decision for peace and you made a decision to walk away from being around toxic people or being in toxic situations.
Absolutely. Miss Amanda, let me ask you one question. Do you believe it's possible to be the toxic person in someone's life and not have any toxic traits?
Do I think it's possible to be that toxic person in somebody's life and not have any toxic traits?
Yes.
I'm confused because how am I the toxic person if I don't have any traits?
That's the question.
I think if I'm a toxic person, then it's something that made me toxic. So I have to have some traits. Yes.
Right. That led me to the beginning. The first question that I asked when I said, do you have any toxic traits? And you said no. I wonder how you
I'm
can not
speaking
have
of
any.
the present. I was speaking of the present. That's the
Oh,
past.
okay. Oh, okay. Just wanted to clarify some things because I was a bit confused. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chitter Chatter. We have the hard conversations. We talk about things. We tap into things that help us grow and be better. And one of the questions that I had earlier was because, Miss Amanda, what I was saying, one of my toxic traits was I believe I'm a little bit too aggressive. You actually tell me that all the time. I'm too aggressive, I'm too aggressive, I'm too aggressive. And I just finally came up with I've been trying to work on that all year. And it's been like a trial and error type thing. So something that I did new tonight was ask, like, what do you do? What would be your advice to me as to something that you do to work on being less aggressive or not aggressive at all? Like, and you knowing me, what is something you think I could do to, because I'm really working on it.
Thanks for asking that question. One of the things
Don't make me
one of the things that I think you could do, but not just you, I'm speaking to all of us.
Speak to me,
And
though.
this is something that I had to learn how to do.
You have to be able to take criticism however it comes, whenever it comes.
And I would say, humble yourself. When we humble ourselves, I think we begin to bring out our authentic self. I think that when we humble ourselves, God begins to take us to a level we never imagined. It shows your vulnerability. It's okay to be vulnerable in certain circumstances, especially to God. And I think when you humble yourself, it kind of brings you down a little bit and you'll realize that it's a better way to do it. It's a better way to say it. all of that. And that's the thing that I had to learn. I had to humble myself, because I sometimes I look at you and I say, was that me? Was that me at that age? I know we're living in a different time and a different season, but oftentimes we can't see ourselves. So I don't know how I was at that age. I know something about me, but I have to you make me question myself on how I was. But what I do know is that I'm not that person today. And see, that's what's important about life, y'all. It's about growth. And that's what we're here for. That's what Black Girl Beauty is all about. And that's what our foundation is about. If you are just tuning in, Unique, we're talking about, we're talking about toxic people, and we're Black Girl Beauty Foundation. And at Black Girl Beauty Foundation, we get together and we talk about these things, and we have webinars once a month on the 15th of every month. So y'all know the 15th is coming up. We have a webinar coming up, and we talk about these issues and the things that's going on in our community. So please go over to blackgirlbeauty.org. And if we don't have your information, please leave your information, leave your email address so that you can stay connected with us. Because that's what it's all about. And because it's not about who you used to be. It's not about what you used to do. Unique, when you said you have been working on that this year. And that's what it's about to me. When you're able to identify your weaknesses or your things about you that may not be good or that you don't like about yourself. See, we have to be honest with self.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. There's no toxic traits
that I need to change. When you are able to do that, you have already advanced. You've already taken the next step because you identified it and you said, I want to work on this. I want to change. That's humbling yourself. That's knowing that.
Thank you so much.
Change. So yes, so you're in a good space right now, Uniqua, to even be able to identify that. And I want to say this again to you because
thank you so much, Mom.
I said this last week. I'm very proud of you. I love your topics because you touch on some important topics that are definitely needed in our community, and we need to take these conversations further. It's only so much you can talk about in an hour. We know that. That's why we get together on the 15th of every month. And so we want people to open up and feel free. We gotta
because we're putting our vulnerability on the line and showing ourselves and having real conversations and digesting real topics here in front of you. That's why we make this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, I don't want to call her the thing she did earlier. If you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter Chatter, and we have spoken about toxic traits, ladies. What are toxic traits? What are your toxic traits? How do you believe it? And we also did a live display of how you can help a young woman with her toxic trait. I literally asked my mom, which is the first time I have ever in my life opened my mouth and asked how to help myself with me, because I've been told I'm too aggressive from a lot of people. And I've been trying, and I just, I Googled the word, see what it meant, and I just did what I thought it meant to not be aggressive. But that's not really putting in the work, and that's not really changing who you are. That's just you doing something to make it seem like you're not what you really are. But if you really decide that you want to change and digest and really get into it, you really need to ask, what is it that I would do to change myself and be less aggressive? I actually really did that. She gave me some good answers. And, well, I guess I'm not. I guess I'll be a little more humble. But that is what we do here on Chitter Chatter. We digest. We talk about the heavy stuff. We talk about topics that we don't normally talk about. We dive into it. We Black women, and this is Chitter Chatter. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be speaking about money. We're going to be speaking about business. Financial literacy is our topic next week. Miss Amanda is going to be coming in and speaking to us about business, actually, I'm not going to give you any details. She's going to tell you what she's going to be speaking about. I'm going to be hosting, but she's going to be giving you all the details and information, because in our community, we need to learn about money, how it moves, how to handle it. That is a big problem in our community. We don't know about money. We don't know how to move. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know about business. We don't know Black business. We're talking about it next week. Miss Amanda is going to give you the 411, because I, myself, am learning about money, taxes, finances, everything. That is how we grow as a community. You tap into all aspects. This is where we do it. This is Black Girl
Black
Beauty.
girl beauty.
Chatter with your host. Why do you keep mocking me? What's up? What's
I'm
up?
not mocking you. I just think it sounds good. Two is always better than one, hun.
Well,
How
let's get
about
on
that?
accord, Miss Amanda. Because Miss Amanda is, I'm so glad to have you here on every episode. You really bring in a different flavor, and we're so welcome to have you. Thank you for being authentic and digesting these topics. I know sometimes it gets a little deep, but that is what we're here to do. We are here to Black women and grow
Well, I
here
will
together.
speak on that as well for a
Miss
second.
Amanda, Miss Amanda,
One
let's
second.
work while you're doing what you're
Wait a
doing.
minute.
We need to.
Let me speak on that. You know, we have to be free. And as a mother and you as a daughter, it's okay to share how you feel, even if it is a little touchy sometimes. You know, that's what takes us, that's what helps us grow. You know,
Absolutely, I agree.
I wrote a book called Living on Edge. I wrote that book, 10 years ago? And when I wrote that book, it was my story. It was my story to tell. It was my life. It was my story. And
Still available right now. Get it on Amazon. Living on it.
oftentimes when we tell our story, oftentimes when we tell our story, or when she's telling what she identifies about me that may not, be pleasing to her, she's telling her truth. She's telling her story and her truth, and she's allowed to do that, even if it offends me, even if I feel some type of way about it, even if I disagree with her. She is sharing her truth. On Black Girl Beauty, you guys, that's what we do as well. We speak our truth, but my truth may not be your truth. You don't have to agree with everything that I say, but it's my truth. And so you have to respect my truth. And that's all I ask. And Uniqua, I respect your truth, even though I don't agree with all of your truth, but that's your truth. And I believe you're speaking it from your heart. As long as you're speaking it from your heart, I'm good. But it was a pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege.
Thank you so much, Miss Amanda. It's always a pleasure to have you here. God bless you. Everything. Have a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen, coming together as adult Black women and addressing things that we need to address and speaking about it in our community authentically. You have to be brave enough to have these conversations. This is me and my mom in front of you having a real conversation that we didn't have prior to this live, digesting real topics that really affect us and really grow. Like my mom, I'm not like the things that I listed about myself earlier in this episode that I believe are toxic are literally things that have been told or things that I discovered about myself on this journey of growth. You have to be willing to recognize that about yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be willing to grow. This is Black Girl Beauty. This is Chitter Chatter, and I'm so thankful for having you here. If you're just now tuning in, we are on our way out. So I am thankful that you tuned in, and I'm thankful that you're here. Go ahead and drop a like, tell a friend to tell a friend. It was Chitter Chatter time, and we had a great time. Toxic traits. Next week, we are speaking about financial literacy. Be sure to tune in. Follow me on Instagram. I am Uniqua. That's IAMUNIQUIA. And on Facebook and YouTube, I'm Uniqua Manigault. That's UNIQUIA And tune into all the episodes you may have missed. Tune into tonight's episode if you're just now tuning in and you're late. Catch it on YouTube. Follow us. Join us on Black Girl Beauty, our Facebook group, Women Only, Black Women Only. We are here for Black women. This is where we Black women. We discuss the topics that we don't normally discuss. We have the hard conversations. We dive into our own topics. We digest things that we need to improve. We Black women. This is Chitter Chatter. It has been a plum pleasing pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. This is Black Girl Beauty. We're going to go ahead and take one toast out. Good night.